subscribe.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Fire Sprinkler Podcast. We're here at General Air Products. I'm here with Chris Dilday. Chris Dilday is with SPP Fire Pumps and just finished up a presentation. We'll talk a little bit about that later. Chris, how's it going today?
Awesome.
Awesome, man. Thanks for talking to me.
Happy Fire Pump Friday.
Hey, Fire Pump Friday. Love it. Before we get started on digging into fire pumps, a little bit about maintenance, a little bit about service, stuff like that, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I've been in the industry now for 20 years.
Okay.
Started off on the shop floor of SPP and just kind of worked my way around the shop through the office. The only thing they didn't let me do was accounting because I don't know how to count. But yeah, I only know about fire pumps.
They don't want you taking your shoes off to do the math in the accounting office?
No. So just everything fire pumps.
Awesome. You did your presentation. You had a ton of hilarious pictures, what not to do.
Oh, yeah.
You had some really good what to do pictures, but more what not to do. In the sprinkler industry, how often when you're going to do commissioning of fire pumps are you finding like major fuck ups?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I've got a lot of friends in the industry that will call me. They'll send me pictures. I don't get to get out in the pump room as much as I used to.
Sure. Yeah.
So I rely on a lot of my friends for feedback of what they're seeing out in the field. Probably number one thing is didn't have power or didn't have water.
Those are pretty important things when you're going to commission a fire pump.
Absolutely. But then other things like, just bad installation techniques.
Sure.
But I think that comes down to training. Guys not getting the proper training and not being mentored out in the field.
So when you're going into a valve room, obviously you've got a checklist of things that you're going to do. How often are you seeing kind of like the easy to get things, the eccentric reducer installed upside down, piping coming from like the pictures you show, coming up beside the pump, turning the corner and coming right into the pump. Is that kind of the more prevalent stuff as far as installation techniques?
Yeah, and I think on those, it's usually in areas where they're subbing out the work.
Okay.
So they're getting people that aren't necessarily fire sprinkler fitters.
Okay.
So they're subbing out the pump room. They give them a basic drawing, and if they can't follow the drawing to the letter, they'll improvise.
Sure. Yeah. I early in my career, one of my first big projects was a big freezer facility, family business. So my old man, you got your ticket, figure it out, right? Throw you to the wolves. And we were doing the labor. So we were subbed. We're a union contractor. We got subbed from another union contractor to do the labor on a project. And the design showed the pump room in a circle. So the water came in here and it came up the backflow and at this elevation looped around the room and then into the suction.
Yeah.
And then the bypass went this way and then the header went this way. So the bypass tied into the back side of the header. But what that did is it made the valves, which are in the middle, inaccessible. So one of those things like came in on the fly, we got to kind of like refigure this. The guy came to say, he was like, oh yeah, I don't know what I was thinking here. Like, okay, can I just be compliant and you're good? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because he's like, well, okay, just make sure when you're doing this, just make sure when you're doing that. And I'm like, okay, so here's my plan. I want to come up, I want to break over, I want to go up so high, blah, 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 blah. It sucks. It was all 10-inch. Drop down into the pump and go from there. And he's like, yeah, can you send me an as-built when you're done? Like, absolutely, man, we'll send you as-built. And he's like, okay, yeah, you know what you're doing. Don't bother me until it's done. Let me know. Give me your material list and away. And off to the races you go, right? It's all easy on paper, right?
Always.
Awesome. So, awesome. You were talking about training.
Yes.
What kind of training do you guys have available at SP Pumps?
So our training is, of course, on everything fire pumps. We have industry experts from controller manufacturers, field commissioning reps, engine reps, people from the pump side of things, not just myself.
Sure.
I'll get other pump reps that are friends of mine to come in and give their take on their style of pumps. We try to keep it open, and we don't necessarily want it to just be, oh, it's all SPP or nothing at all.
Yeah.
It's pumps, and they're all important. They have a specific job. We want you to know everything that there is to know, but more importantly, we want you to know everyone you need to know. So when you're in a pinch in the field, you know who to contact.
Yeah, and unfortunately, by the sounds of your presentation, you give out your phone number like candy on Halloween, and you're getting those calls 2, 3 in the morning a lot of the times. Yeah. Yeah, hey, we're commissioning a pump tomorrow, man, and this is what's messing up.
Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
And that's probably the biggest thing. You know, we see these customers, they'll call in for a startup last minute.
Sure.
And
nothing's
3
ready.
weeks
ago. Yeah.
Nothing's ready at site. And they say, well, just come back tomorrow. We tell them it's not that easy.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the time you have just one pump tech in an area covering all the sprinkler contractors. So they're stretched really thin.
Sure.
And so we really do try to stress to the customer, like, hey, please follow this checklist. Make sure everything's ready for our person when they come out.
Yeah. Now, you say please the first time. How many of those times is it like?
Yeah. A lot of our commissioning reps have a hit list of please don't call me for XYZ contractor. Call this person for them because I don't want to go on their job. But, you know, I try to be fair with everybody. You know, if I see that it's apparent you need training, I'm going to recommend it.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a lot of really great customers that I've worked with over the years that request training often because they want their guys learning about what's new, what's out there, what should they look for.
Sure. Now, before we get into kind of doing a quick walkthrough on you're walking into a pump room, what do I need to look for service standpoint? Just a quick shout out as far as where to contact if they want to go to SPP Pumps for, I mean, service or training.
Yeah, that's easy. So just go to www.spppumps.com. That's our main website. It is changing up a little bit. It'll be really cool. Have a lot of case study, things like that on there. But then if you want training, go to SPPPumpsUniversity.com.
Okay.
Also want to give a shout out to my friends at Fire Tech Productions. They do training at our facility. Top-notch training. That whole team is just amazing. They were just wrapped up a class today at our facility. So yeah.
Awesome, cool. So I'm gonna grab the camera here and we'll do a little kind of run and gun. Kind of pick off your hit list as far as what we're looking for, servicing a fire pump, you're walking into a pump room, new customer, old customer, whatever.
Yeah. So first thing that what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a walk around the room. I wanna visually see everything in the room, see all the devices, and make sure that everything's set up in accordance with an FPA.
Sure.
So when I get to the actual pump itself, I'm gonna start checking things like gauges, checking my name tape or my nameplate right here to see what this pump is supposed to do. On the SPP pumps, we actually have a QR code. So the pump comes up. And in FPA 20, it clearly states that the owner must have a complete set of records for their fire pump. If they don't, well, then they need to get it. Most of the time, this nameplate's gone.
Yeah.
And we're having to kind of reverse engineer, figure out what this pump is doing. Not a lot of contractors share documentation, so it can be hard to get old pump reports. There is new technology coming out. My friends over at Hose Monster have some new software to where you can build and store pump reports. So that's great. I love it when industry partners come out with new stuff to help make us better.
And that's, the guys at Hose Monster are doing awesome things for the industry, not just for selling Hose Monster stuff. They're helping pump manufacturers, suppliers, all those guys help out.
Typically, if it's a brand new setup and I've never touched the pump before, I like to take the terminal box cover off and just check the lines, make sure that it's wired up properly, make sure that the right connections are in place. Because the last thing I want to do is go and start a pump that is wired incorrectly and could potentially arc and cause harm to myself. So after all that's said and done, we've checked all of our devices and everything. We're gonna check over on our jockey pump. A lot of the time, this equipment's already on because the pump is in service. We're here at General Air, and so this is a training lab. We're gonna turn this on, make sure that our pump, our jockey pump is pumping like it should. We have that off right now. Now we're gonna check our main fire pump. So we're gonna pull up on our circuit breaker to turn on the fire pump controller. And if this is already low on pressure, it's gonna go ahead and start and kick on the pump. It has an automatic shutdown enabled on this controller. It just depends on your municipality whether or not that's allowed.
Now the automatic shutdown can be set up on a timer as well, right?
Yes.
So minimum run time, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, etc.
Yes.
I know it's not allowed by NFPA. Was it a one-time allowed by NFPA, or is it not anymore?
Well, no, automatic shutdown is allowed. It's just depending on your jurisdiction. There's certain jurisdictions that don't want it because there's some conflicting information in NFPA. One part of it says you have to have a competent person in the room at all times during any and all fire pump operations.
Yep.
But depending on where you are, they will allow for the automatic shutdown. So one of the things I'll do, I can see it here on the controller where my cut in and cut out is, but I'm gonna go up here to my little hamburger menu screen, check my settings, and actually see what it was actually set to, my cut in and my cut out. It's cut in at 100 and cut out at 110. So I know that this pump is currently pressurized to over 110 PSI, so the fire pump's not gonna run. Now, say we've gone through everything else, I'm also gonna go back here into my log, and I'm gonna, me personally, I'm gonna download all of the events that have happened with this controller, which will show me every time it's been run. And the reason I wanna do that is, this is a new customer for me. We're doing their run test now, but did the previous inspector do all the run tests as they should? And then we would know.
Yeah, of course they did. They've got the paperwork to prove it.
Yeah, right.
You were talking about that in your presentation. You call this the lie detector.
That's right. That's right. This is the fire pump lie detector. It will tell you everything. So now we've gone through all that. I'm going to go back home, and I'm seeing that I've got proper power coming into my fire pump controller. There's multiple ways of starting a fire pump. I like to do every starting method possible, whether I'm dropping pressure from the sensing line, starting it manually with the start button, or using the run test button.
Okay.
I want to capture every device so that I know every starting device on this controller works properly.
Right.
So
now, this is part of you're talking about the things to do in annual, or you're talking about general startup?
just whether it's general startup or our monthly run tests for electric, or weeklies for our diesels. This time in particular, we're just doing a monthly run test on an electric. So I'm going to hit the start button just to make sure that it starts manually. And then I'm going to also do it using my run test button so that it logs it as a weekly or monthly run test.
Now, we already know because of see how clean these floors are.
Yeah.
But the other thing, keep in note that we want to make sure the suction valves to the fire pump are open.
Yes.
Monthly tests, you may shut the discharge valve. I like to keep them open to test the system piping itself. But I know that's an option as well.
Yeah, you don't want to recirculate water during a run test because the water will get really hot, and there's, as you know, we have certain rubber components throughout the system that could then deteriorate, melt, and break down, and then cause leaks.
Right.
So that's a big reason they don't want the water recirculating. But also, it's only 30 minutes for a diesel and 10 for electric. It's not a whole lot of time, but it gives you time to check things like temperature of the fire pump, speed of the fire pump. You're also measuring your suction and discharge to ensure that your closed valve pressure, your shutoff, is what it's supposed to be per the records of that fire pump.
Right, yep.
So we'll go ahead and hit start real quick just to show you what happens when you start a fire pump. This one in particular is across the line. This is a 20 horsepower Tornatec GPA. And we'll go ahead and hit start. So you can see right here on the screen that it was started in manual.
Yep.
And now we'll go ahead and shut it off. We've ensured that fire pump does start in manual. And then the next thing that we'll do is we'll hit our run test button. And this run test button is very clear. It looks like a faucet with a valve on it. The new Tornatecs, it looks slightly different, but let's go ahead and start. So you can see here, last time it said manual, this time it actually says run test, and there's a timer counting down from 10 minutes.
Yeah, and that'll automatically shut the pump off after a 10-minute run time.
We just simulated our monthly run test, but had we let it continue to run, it would count all the way down to 0 and then shut off.
Yep.
Having done all that, I'm going to take recordings of all of these readings, my speed, my temperature, my suction, my discharge, and I'm going to put them into a log.
Yep.
It'll be a manual log that we would probably put into a different type of software depending on the company you work for and the service software that you use. We're going to do this every single month and keep these good records. Depending on your building, if you're insured by FM or one of these big insurance agencies, they want all these records.
And they want to maintain them on site for usually, I've had some that say a minimum of 7 years.
Yes. So once we've done all that, one of the things that I tell people is try to leave a pump room better than you received it.
100%.
So every time you go into a pump room, find something new to clean.
That's why I flooded this room out.
Yeah.
That's why.
So we could clean it.
So we could clean it.
The floors were dirty. We needed to wash them.
And you know what? I didn't even charge them for that. That's an extra service.
That's right.
Such nice guys we are.
Yeah.
Now, this pump obviously has excessive leaking on here.
Yes. It's seen better days.
Yeah, horizontal split case pumps are a little bit easier to service. What would be, is there a quick tighten the packing on a vertical inline pump? This is actually something I haven't done before.
Yeah, I mean, you tighten your packing the same way you would on a horizontal split case. What I see a lot of people do is they'll go in and they'll just start ratcheting down on the packing gland instead of taking small movements on either side, even movements on either side, stepping back and letting the packing settle. You don't want to wrench down too hard on it. If you go too hard on one side, the gland itself will actually cut into the shaft sleeve and could cause scoring, which would later break the shaft sleeve.
You do that while the fire pump's running as well. Minor adjustments while the
Very minor adjustments, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So other things we're looking for, say we're running the pump's not running right now, obviously it's quiet. But what are the other things that we're looking for on a vertical inline pump while we're running? The temperatures that you're talking about, are you taking bearing measurement temperatures? Are you taking the pump itself, the motor? What are the
Well, so like on a vertical inline, temperature is really only important on the motor itself, making sure that the motor's not getting too hot, because you don't have all the same components on a vertical inline like you would a horizontal split case. Taking the readings on a horizontal split case, you're doing that to check the bearings because you're worried about misalignment.
Right.
You don't have to worry about that with a vertical inline. There is no alignment check for that, much like a vertical turbine. So we're mainly just taking those temperatures of the motor itself to ensure that those windings are intact.
Yeah. You would think we're at an air compressor company. That's actually over here, General Air. It's obviously an office building here, but they have a dry system throughout their system practicing what they preach. Back to pumps.
Awesome. Yeah, I think we're going to give Dave and those guys, I'm going to see if they want a horizontal split case just so they have multiple pumps. They've been a great friend and partner with us. This whole sprinkler madness thing, we look forward to it every year. So
this is my first time attending. I'm hoping I get the invite back. They're talking like they want me to come back next year. It's been we did a podcast on Wednesday where we just talked about the state of the industry. Had some Canadians, had some Americans on there. You threw a couple shots at Canada.
A little bit,
but that's okay. I'll forgive
fun.
you. We'll scrap later. We were talking a lot about this event, everything like that. See you later. Hitting the road. See
you, Matt.
We'll talk a little bit about that. This event is very sprinkler eccentric, and it's put on by an air compressor company. Out of this training facility, this fire pump setup for training, testing, all of that stuff it's an air compressor company. They sell air compressors. Do they need to be doing this much for the industry? No, but they are, and it's awesome. And I absolutely love to see it. So this is going to be another shout out to General Air. You're probably going to get a bunch of them over the episodes in the next couple weeks. But getting back into the fire pumps there. When you kick that fire pump on, also want to make sure that you've got your circulating relief valve rolling on this.
Yes.
That's essentially start the pump, make sure it's kicking water.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you don't have water coming out of that into a drain, you've got a problem. Maybe you need to replace your casing relief valve. If you've got like this one, that's a clay valve. These things will last forever. So you just want to check your settings on that. Make sure that you've got steady water flowing out, not a trickle, not a drip, but steady water coming out. And you want to make sure that the drain that it's going to is sized appropriately for that water.
Yeah, absolutely. So the rule of thumb for sizing that is, not pressurized, but you want water. What I go by is the pipe size of the discharge, full of water, not pressurized shooting out, just dumping water.
And the main reason for that, when we're doing our run tests, the water's getting hot. You need that dumping that excess pressure out. It's helping to keep everything cool. If it's not flowing, it'll get really, really hot in the line and start cooking parts.
Yeah, and good for you guys, but bad for everybody else.
Right, exactly, exactly.
Awesome.
So,
anything else from a general preventative maintenance? How do I make sure these pumps run for 20, 30 years?
just take care of them. If you take care of the pump, it'll take care of you.
When you need it to.
When you need it. You know, you wanna make sure that, like I said, you're leaving the room better than you received it.
Yep.
You're constantly looking at ways to improve the setup that you have, recommending maintenance when necessary. For the customers, they need to understand that it's the most important equipment in the entire building. You need to take care of it so that the people in your building are safe.
Absolutely. Chris, anything to wrap it up? Where do I people get in touch with you? You've probably given your card out 1,000 times, but if someone wants to talk to you, how do they get a hold of you?
Really just Chris_Dilday at SPPPumps.com, or call me, text me, find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, all that. Yeah, that's it.
Fire pumps, man.
Fire Pump Friday. Love it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.